quiet for a bit of a farm tour. I raise sheep and goats and rabbits and chickens, turkeys, have a couple of horses as well, but I'm really glad that you stopped by today. Come on in.
Who do we have here, Nancy?
This is Loretta. Loretta is my favorite goat in this barn. She's waiting to have kids. She'll be kidding within the next week and week or so. There's 3 other moms in here that I'm waiting on as well. Loretta didn't have a great mom when she was first born. The mom didn't hate her, but just kind of didn't pay much attention to her. So I always had to hold the mom to feed her, which is why Loretta is as quiet as she is. She's used to being around people a lot, and she's just grown into a really awesome goat. Her kids are the same. Her kids are wonderful and quiet, which is why I don't have any because I sell them. Farrah Fawcett. She's my livestock guardian dog, or LGD. Anyone who has sheep or goats or other livestock outside, quite often they'll have a dog that will live out there in the pasture with them. She stays in the barn, but she keeps raccoons away, mink that would come and get the chickens, definitely keeps all the cats out of the lower part of the barn. I don't know what else to tell you about her. She lives out here. She's never been in the house. She just has run of the barn and the barnyard.
Excellent. Hello, Farrah.
So these are the last of the girls to lamb in this group. I have another group that will lamb in May, but these are the last ones for now. They're quite close to lambing. You can see how big their udders are. Hopefully within the next week. Dora, who almost everyone knows, Dora Do, she's 11 years old and she's in retirement. She's not having lambs. She's just living out her days and keeps these other ewes company.
And how long are they usually pregnant for before they give birth?
144 days. That's what you're looking at. About 5
months?
Yeah, about 5 months. This girl lambed yesterday. Can you get up, Bella? Bella.
Brand spanking new.
And you'll see everything else in my barn is white. And I just decided that that was really boring. So I went for a couple of black sheep. I bought one black ewe who gave me a black daughter, who gave me a black daughter, who gave me a black daughter.
And do we have a name for this one yet?
Not yet. But these are all named after the Hobbit books. Try and find female names from the Hobbit. This is Belladonna, who was one of the waitresses in the pub.
So Nancy, we're just curious how you go about naming the sheep or the lambs.
I try to come up with something specific to each bloodline of sheep. So Dora, who you met over here, is D. Every daughter she's had has been a D name. Think of 11 years of daughters and D. This was her last daughter. This is Danae. Danae had a ram lamb or a boy lamb, and I don't name those because they end up leaving the farm. I only name the little girls. In this entire pen, I have one little girl who's from a mom whose name is Lady Baden. Lady B, because her grandmother came from the Sudbury Clover 4-H group. So I need a name for her that has something to do with the brownies or Girl Guides, something.
Okay, so our watchers could possibly look for that B name.
They absolutely could. I'd be looking for a name. She's tiny, but she's feisty. Lady B is part Dorset sheep, and they are phenomenal milkers. They make lots and lots of milk for their babies. And that milk is so good, all the other lambs seem to know it. And they will sneak a drink every chance they get. And that's called bumming.
Even if it's not their mom.
It's not their mom, but they know that there's really good milk in there. So that little triplet, even though her mom is in the back, she's trying to nurse off another. Okay, in addition to the sheep and the goats, and there's still more of those to come, this is a French Angora rabbit called Paul Bunyan. He came from Minnesota, and he's what you call a broken Angora because he has more than one color. You can see his face is black and white, kind of spotted. Needs a grooming really badly. But last year, when I had collected his fleece, I spun it.
Wow.
And that will become something made of lace. That's actually a finished skein of Angora yarn. It's the warmest fiber that there is.
That takes a little bit of time, Nancy?
It takes a little bit of time, and to find the time to do it is hard. But some days I just say, I just need 10 minutes to spin just to kind of bring myself back to reality. In addition to the Angora rabbits, and I have several of those, I also raised some other rabbits. And these bunnies here are just about 5 weeks old. They're a cross between American blue rabbits, which are very rare in Ontario, and a New Zealand white, which is what you typically see in all of your Easter advertising, right? That white rabbit with the pink eyes.
That looked just like velvet.
Yeah, their mom was white and their dad was blue.
And what do we have over here, Miss Nancy?
Okay, these are two little kids that were born. You guys are going to have to turn around or you won't get any. There's one. There we go. That were born on Friday, I think. And their mom decided that she just didn't want to look after babies. That doesn't always happen with goats. I know I've told you 2 stories about that already. Most times the moms will look after their babies and everything is fine. But she just did want nothing to do with them. So now I have to bottle feed them, which might look like fun, but it's not really. They get fed every 4 hours. And this will go on for at least the first 3 weeks of their life, if not longer. We'll see how it goes. This is a little boy here and a little girl. Again, the little boy probably will not get a name, but the little girl will stay. And I look for Western names.
And what is it that you're feeding them exactly, Nancy?
This is called goat milk replacer. Okay. It replaces the milk that the mama goat would have. But you have to...
And what breed of goats do you have here, Nancy? They have really long ears.
These are called Boer goats, B-O-E-R, and they originated in South Africa. Those long ears help them to keep cool in hot weather, but it's a pain in cold weather because they get cold really fast. And especially newborns, it's a chore to keep them healthy that first 24 hours when it's cold out. Hey, baby.
So we're the end of March 23rd, 7 degrees. Is this warmer temperature benefiting you in any way with these animals?
Yes. I am not nearly as stressed if an animal is going to lamb or kid in the middle of the night and I'm not aware of that happening. Kids will freeze very quick, like literally freeze because of those ears. But anything above 45 Fahrenheit in the barn, I don't know what that is, 7 or so, maybe 5 or 7 degrees Celsius, that's ideal. Anything above that is I don't have to stress near as bad.
Excellent.
But what I do have, I have baby monitor cameras in my barn, so I'm watching all through the night. Every time I roll over, I'm checking that camera. Not so much in the lamb pen, but in the kidding pen, I sure am.
No sleep for the weary during this season at all.
I don't know why she's not getting up.
And we have a little dark one over here.
Well, these two kids were born, a week and a half ago. Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting that they're even here because everything went so well and they're growing so well without any issues. Okay, you asked about names. This is Allie Earp. I've had the entire line of Earps. So now I need a name for her daughter, who looks just like her, except she's hiding her head in the corner. I think I haven't used a Maddie. Maddie was one of the Earp brothers' wives. But I'm always looking for a Western name.
So we're open for names
We're
here,
open
kids.
for names
Everybody
for that
hear
kid
that?
too. Yeah.
And who do we have behind you?
Okay, she's a Gilmore girl. That's her name. So we call her Gilly. She is a purebred boar, the same as the others, but you can see she's black on the front. The rest are either light brown or a red color. And she has one horn. When she was very tiny, they would have tried to remove her horns, her little horn buds. Sometimes it doesn't work. And so she ends up with one, and that's all you can do. There's nothing more. We'll keep it so if it starts to curl or whatever, we can snip off the end. But it's just going to stay like that. This is cocoa butter. I don't know if you can see. She is a La Mancha goat. Can you come here?
I got a decent view of her.
She has little tiny ears.
Are they ever?
Okay. And they originated in a cooler climate, so the smaller ears made it easier for them to stay warm, as opposed to the boars that needed the long ears to be able to cool off.
There's a lot of different breeds of goats, aren't there?
There are, but I keep the boars. They're suited.
For
I
this
don't know how you want me
climate?
to say it.
Suited for this kind of climate
Well, they're meat goat.
here. And who do we have over here, Nancy?
This is the daddy of every baby goat that's here. His name is Pete.
Hello, Pete.
He's from a goat herd in Quebec. The woman has absolutely amazing goats. And yeah, he made quite the trek to get here.
And who is this little puffball here?
This is Gypsy Rose. Gypsy Rose is an English Angora, and they're different from the French, not only because they're smaller, but they're the ones whose picture you see all over Facebook with those crazy bent over ears and fluffy, fluffy faces.
So here we are at Deer Creek Ranch. Nancy, I'm wondering who tends to typically help out or look after the farm and what a typical day might look like for you.
Oh my goodness. Okay. This is my deal. This is my life. The farm. I look after all the animals. I tour twice a day. I make sure they're fed, watered, looked after, all of that kind of thing. When it comes to maybe I need to trim feet or vaccinate sheep, which takes more than one person, then I'll call in Austin, my son. If he's around, young Shiloh Lavely down the road, if she's home, I get help that way. My husband, of course, has built the barn and done all the renovations on it, but his big thing is during haying season. And that will start hopefully around mid-June, beginning of July. Last year we put in over 500 round bales of hay and about 3,000 small squares. The small squares are what I feed in this barn, and it's...
So after that fun season of haying, what other big jobs are we looking at?
Well, you ask about a typical day, and I was thinking about that.
Which is a big job all day, every day.
There really is no typical day. It varies, of course, with the time of year. Right now, I'm usually up about 5 o'clock in the morning to do my first barn check. Kids are bottle fed by 6. I come back to the house because I have to have coffee in order to finish the day. I do morning chores about 7 o'clock, 7:30. They take me over an hour now because I have individual pens with moms and babies in. There might not be a whole lot actually planned for the day, but there's always something. Rabbits need grooming, feet need trimming. Like I have a sick goat, it's going to have to get medication. Cleaning pens, all of that kind of stuff goes on every day. And you also have to try to maintain a house. So I'm not good with the lawn, keeping up with laundry and doing dishes and cooking, and then come back down and check for more babies and things. That's this time of year. As spring progresses, then you're thinking about your garden. So you've got your barn things to do. Then you start work on the garden, getting it tilled and planned and getting things in the ground. Weeding, then haying season will come. You've got to get your chores done. You've got to get to town first thing in the morning because haying typically happens in the afternoon when they rake and bale and goes until dark. In the fall, you're taking animals to market, possibly showing. You've got to get ready for that. Every day is different.
Excellent. Full days.
If you're sitting and doing nothing, then something's not getting done.
So we aren't looking at a typical 8 to 5 job or an 8-hour day job, Nancy. Have you ever thought if you weren't doing this, would there be something else you would be doing, or is this your dream?
I got my first horse when I was 16 and wanted to become a veterinarian when I went to college. That didn't happen. Instead, I took courses in animal poultry science and graduated with that major. When I graduated, I started working for Master Feeds, a large feed company. I have always had something to do with livestock. I can't imagine a day without it. We keep talking on days when I get incredibly stressed and things have gone wrong that maybe I should just sell everything, but I couldn't do it. I'd have to have, yeah. The only thing I've done in between there was I was a substitute teacher when I lived in the States, and I loved that because I subbed for agricultural classes.
Nice.
So I just, no, there isn't anything else that I would rather do.
So here you are, living the dream. Some days a little more crazy than other days, but when you can just simply take a breath and take all this picturesque view in, wow, I just think that's fantastic.
Yeah, there's nothing like sitting on the back deck late spring before the bugs come, and the sheep are out grazing here, and the lambs are jumping around, the chickens are pecking in the dirt, and yeah.
Definitely sweet sounds. I would take this over highway traffic any day. Nancy, we see lots of benefits here living on the farm, but if you had to just pick one, what would your all-time favorite thing be?
My favorite thing, other than the joy of having nice, healthy babies born, is getting those kids here and working with livestock and watching how those young children grow and learn responsibility, learn about agriculture, and leave here with knowledge that they didn't have before they started. That's the greatest thing about doing this.
And I guess that is what we really appreciate as an asset to our community here, to have you to teach and impact so many of these young people. So we thank you very much for that, Miss Nancy.
Well, it is indeed my pleasure every year.